Have you ever wondered why some men seem to age faster after 60? Why their energy drops, their sleep gets worse, and they suddenly start having issues with their prostate, digestion, or even their memory? Could it be something as simple and as dangerous as the foods they're combining at the dinner table every day without thinking twice? What if two of your favorite foods you may even believe are healthy, when eaten together, could be quietly fueling inflammation, stressing your hormonal system, and increasing your risk for prostate problems, even prostate cancer? What are these two foods? Why are doctors now sounding the alarm? And why does it matter even more after 60? Let's dive into it. And trust me, you'll never look at your plate the same way again. Before we go on, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you care about keeping your body strong, your mind sharp, and your health in your own hands. Let's be honest, at 60, your body doesn't bounce back the way it used to. You feel it in your joints. You feel it when you don't sleep well. And yes, you definitely feel it when you eat the wrong foods. But the most dangerous thing, you might not feel it right away, especially when it comes to your prostate. That's why this isn't about quick fixes or scare tactics. It's about helping you understand what your body's quietly trying to tell you before things get worse. So what are the two foods you should never combine after 60? Let's build the full picture first. Every day, your body runs on a delicate balance of hormones: testosterone, insulin, estrogen, cortisol, all working together. And one of the organs that suffers the most when these get out of whack is the prostate. It sits right beneath the bladder and wraps around the urethra, which means when it swells up due to inflammation or hormonal imbalances, the signs can show up as slow urination, frequent nighttime trips to the bathroom, or discomfort that feels impossible to ignore. Now here's the twist. Most men don't realize that what they're eating together, specifically the combination of certain carbohydrates and fats, is not only putting stress on their blood sugar, but it's also spiking inflammation and forcing the prostate to work under fire day after day. So let's dig into why this is happening. First, we have to understand insulin resistance. As you age, your body becomes less efficient at managing blood sugar. That doesn't just mean diabetes is around the corner. It means every time you eat, your insulin has to work harder. And when insulin stays elevated for too long, it can drive inflammation. It can also increase estrogen levels in men, which has been strongly linked to prostate enlargement. Yes, men produce estrogen too, and when it's out of balance with testosterone, the prostate often suffers first. Now, imagine you're eating a meal that includes refined carbs and unhealthy fats. Think white bread and processed meat, pasta and creamy sauces, fries and a burger, chips and cheese dip. You might think that's normal comfort food, but your body sees it differently. This combo floods your bloodstream with glucose, spikes your insulin, and introduces oxidized fats that your liver has to work overtime to clear. The inflammatory response, immediate, and your prostate, it takes the hit quietly without you realizing until the symptoms start stacking up. This is especially risky after 60 because your testosterone is already naturally declining. Your ability to detoxify, to repair DNA damage, to calm inflammation, those systems aren't what they used to be. So the combo of these foods acts like throwing gasoline on a slow-burning fire. What's worse, these combinations are often marketed as healthy. Think of a healthy granola with low-fat milk, a whole wheat sandwich with turkey and mayonnaise, a smoothie with fruit and peanut butter. All of these seem like smart choices, but they share the same issue: fast carbs plus fats, metabolic disaster in an aging male body. Let's pause here and consider something you probably haven't heard from your doctor. Your prostate is incredibly sensitive to diet. And not just what you eat, but how your body processes what you eat. That means when you overload it with metabolic stress, like combining carbs that spike blood sugar with fats that slow digestion, you get a prolonged elevation of insulin. You also get something called postprandial lipemia, which is a fancy way of saying your blood gets flooded with fat particles after a meal. That slows circulation, stiffens arteries, and triggers oxidative stress. And here's the connection most men miss: that oxidative stress hits the prostate, the heart, and the brain simultaneously. So when you think you're just a little tired after lunch, or you assume your slow urination is just getting older, there could be a fire burning under the surface, and the match that lit it, the food on your plate. But don't panic, because here's the good news. Once you understand how these combinations affect your body, you can begin to reverse the damage. Studies show that reducing refined carbs and focusing on whole, fiber-rich vegetables can help lower insulin levels. Adding anti-inflammatory fats like omega-3s can also reduce oxidative stress in the prostate. But the most important action you can take is to separate your carbs and your fats, especially when it comes to processed versions of both. Let's make that practical. If you're going to eat starchy carbs like sweet potatoes, quinoa, or even brown rice, avoid pairing them with heavy animal fats or dairy-based sauces. Instead, add lean proteins and fiber-rich greens. If you're going to enjoy healthy fats like olive oil, avocado, or nuts, keep the meal low in carbs. Think wild salmon with steamed spinach, a salad with olive oil, nuts, and grilled chicken. The key is to avoid combining fast-burning sugars with slow-digesting fats in the same meal. Your prostate will thank you. Your heart will too. And what about prostate-specific nutrients? Zinc, selenium, and lycopene are your friends. Found in foods like pumpkin seeds, Brazil nuts, and cooked tomatoes, they support hormonal balance and reduce the risk of prostate inflammation. But again, don't pair those foods with high glycemic carbs. That defeats the purpose, because when insulin goes up, testosterone goes down. And when testosterone goes down, estrogen rises. And when estrogen rises, the prostate expands like a balloon that won't deflate. That's the real risk you're facing. Now here's the part that most people miss entirely, and it's what makes this message urgent. Once your prostate starts to swell, it can create a self-reinforcing loop. The swelling impairs urination. That increases bladder pressure. That disrupts sleep. Less sleep means higher cortisol. Higher cortisol means more inflammation. More inflammation means more swelling. And now you're in a downward spiral, all triggered by what started with a knife and fork. But if you're thinking it's too late to change, don't. Your body is more resilient than you realize. In fact, studies show that when men over 60 reduce processed food combinations and eat whole, separate, nutrient-dense meals, they often experience improvements in urination, energy, libido, and even mental clarity within weeks. That's not exaggeration. That's physiology. And here's one final trigger to keep in mind, because it catches even the healthiest eaters off guard. Fruit juice with a high-fat breakfast. Seems innocent, right? Orange juice with bacon and eggs. Or a smoothie with peanut butter and banana. This is one of the worst offenders. The rapid sugar from the juice hits your bloodstream, pushing insulin sky high. Meanwhile, your digestive system is still breaking down the fat. This creates a bottleneck effect in your bloodstream, flooding your cells with stress signals and disrupting the entire hormonal environment. Do that day after day, and you've just created the perfect storm for prostate problems, belly fat, and energy crashes that don't make sense. You solve everything for everyone else. You take care of the house, work, race against time. But what about you? How many times have you put off your health? What starts as a simple symptom can become a chronic problem, but it can also be treated before, with the right guidance. There is a simple and powerful way to give your body the care it's asking for, and it's in the pinned comment. Your health can't wait any longer. And here's where everything gets personal, because knowing what to avoid is one thing, but recognizing what it's already doing to you, that changes everything. If you're waking up 2 or more times a night to urinate, it's not just annoying, it's your prostate talking to you. If you feel pressure or discomfort when you sit too long, or if it takes forever to start urinating and then won't stop dribbling when you're done, those aren't just signs of getting older. They're signals. Signals that inflammation is building up around one of the most sensitive organs in your body. And when the prostate becomes inflamed or enlarged, it presses against the urethra like a kink in a hose. The flow weakens, the urgency builds, and your quality of life slowly erodes, night by night, drip by drip. So, let's revisit the real villain here. Combining fast carbs with unhealthy fats, especially refined versions of both. That combination lights a fuse that leads to metabolic syndrome, low testosterone, high estrogen, and chronic low-grade inflammation. And your prostate? It becomes the casualty in a war it never started. But it's not just about prostate health. The consequences of these food combinations ripple into every part of your health. Your cardiovascular system is one of the first to react. As blood sugar spikes and oxidized fats circulate, your arteries lose elasticity. Over time, plaque builds up, blood pressure rises, and that puts more strain on your heart. And yes, your prostate too. You see, poor circulation doesn't just mean cold feet. It means poor oxygen and nutrient delivery to organs, including the prostate, the testes, the brain, everything. Then there's your sexual health. A swollen prostate doesn't just make urination uncomfortable, it can directly interfere with erectile function. Blood flow is everything. Hormone balance is everything. And when insulin is up, testosterone is down. That's not a theory, that's biology. So what should you do starting today? First, become aware of your most common meal combinations. That's where it starts. You don't have to count every calorie or micromanage every bite. Just look at the plate and ask, am I combining sugar-spiking carbs with heavy fats? A bowl of cereal with milk? That's a sugar and saturated fat bomb. A sandwich with mayo and bread? Same story. A pasta dish with creamy sauce or melted cheese? That's more than comfort. It's metabolic confusion. Instead, build meals that support hormone function, blood sugar control, and anti-inflammatory action. Eggs with sautéed spinach and avocado. Perfect. Grilled fish with roasted broccoli and olive oil. Excellent. A hearty salad with lean chicken, sunflower seeds, and a squeeze of lemon. Absolutely. You're giving your body what it needs in a way it can actually use. Now let's talk fiber, because most men after 60 are getting way too little of it, and yet it's one of the most powerful tools for prostate health. Why? Because fiber helps stabilize blood sugar. It binds to excess estrogen in the gut, flushing it out. It also supports healthy gut bacteria, which are directly linked to inflammation levels, immune response, and even hormone regulation. A healthy gut is not just about digestion. It's a command center for your entire system, including your prostate. That brings us to another major player, hydration. Water may seem simple, but most men are walking around in a state of mild dehydration. And when you're dehydrated, your urine becomes more concentrated, more acidic, and more irritating to the bladder and prostate. It's a perfect storm, especially if you're also eating those carb-fat combos that already inflame the prostate. Now let's talk about testosterone, because most men think it just declines with age, and there's nothing you can do about it. But that's not true. While testosterone naturally dips, your habits determine how steep the decline is. And when insulin is kept low, when inflammation is controlled, and when you're not constantly flooding your body with conflicting food signals, testosterone can stabilize or even increase. And that means better energy, better focus, better sleep, and yes, better performance. There's another hormonal trap to avoid: cortisol spikes. When you eat sugar-loaded meals with heavy fats, your blood sugar eventually crashes. And what does your body do in response? It pumps out cortisol to raise it back up. That stress hormone interferes with sleep, weakens immune response, and, most importantly, it increases abdominal fat. That belly fat isn't just extra weight. It produces its own estrogen. Yes, belly fat can act like an estrogen factory in men. And we know where that leads, directly to prostate dysfunction and sexual decline. So when you reach for that combo meal at a restaurant, or pour yourself a glass of juice next to that cheesy omelet, or throw a processed protein bar into your gym bag, you're making a choice. A choice that ripples across your hormones, your energy, your sleep, your intimacy, and your future. Now let's address something that many men avoid talking about: fear. The fear of a prostate exam, the fear of a diagnosis, the fear of losing function, vitality, and independence. But here's the truth: the real danger isn't a diagnosis. The real danger is not knowing, because once you know, you can act. You can make simple, sustainable changes that take pressure off your prostate and restore the balance your body is craving. And if you're thinking, but I've been eating like this my whole life, you're not alone. Most men were never taught that their plate could shape their prostate. But now that you know, really know, you have the power to shift the trajectory. Your cells respond to your habits. Your hormones adjust. Your inflammation lowers. It's not magic. It's science, and it starts with how you eat today. So what does a prostate-friendly day actually look like? Start the morning with hydration. A big glass of water. Add a squeeze of lemon for an anti-inflammatory boost. Then break your fast with protein and fat, not sugar. Eggs, avocado, a handful of walnuts. Skip the toast, skip the juice. Your insulin stays low. your testosterone stays high. Midday, go for movement. Walk, stretch, get outside. Then lunch. Focus on colorful vegetables, lean protein, and healthy fats. No bread, no soda, no sweetened snacks. Your energy stays even. Your blood vessels stay open. Your prostate stays calm. In the evening, a light dinner. Think grilled salmon, steamed greens, olive oil, or a warm vegetable soup with bone broth. These meals lower inflammation, support detox, and ease the strain on your prostate while you sleep. And here's the secret most people miss. Consistency matters more than perfection. You don't have to do it all at once. Just start separating your foods. Just start building better plates. Your body will notice. Your prostate will respond. And remember, your life at 60, 70, or even 80 isn't meant to be about decline. It's meant to be about wisdom, strength, vitality. But those don't just happen. They're earned. One meal, one choice, one habit at a time. And now that you know the truth about these food combinations and their hidden impact on your prostate, you're already ahead of the game. You've got this. And if you're still curious about how to unlock even more ways to protect your hormones, boost testosterone, and live with energy well into your 70s and beyond, you need to watch this next video on screen. Trust me, it connects everything we just talked about and it could change everything. Go ahead. Your future self will thank you.